There you go. Hi.
Hi, everyone.
Hi, everybody.
So, Ellen,
All right, we are live.
All right, I know that you said you wanted to talk a little bit before we got into the financial part. So, tell us how your week went.
Well, my week was a mess. Yeah, I was in Orlando. It was great, not great.
Hey, good
But
weather, right?
yeah, it was. Do what?
Good
Do
weather,
what?
right?
The weather was okay. It was not super warm. It was more like in the 60s in Orlando, Florida, which is a little bit cooler than I thought it was going to be. So I was totally not prepared. Pam's having a little rest. Hi, Melissa. Yay. Good to see you. Yeah, but it was just a mess. It was just, there were a lot of personalities and a lot of things going on that I was a little uncomfortable with.
Right.
We'll put it that way. But yeah, I was happy to get home.
That's
We'll
great. That's great.
we'll do that. Yeah. How's your week been, Jane? Besides, happy birthday to Jane.
Thank you.
March 4th. Happy birthday.
So, been busy with work.
Yes, she is $39.95
Oh, I
plus
am
tax, tag, and title.
37 years old.
Mhm.
So, my friends were coming up
At the
and
most.
yes, thank you. I'm having my kitchen redone, so they were helping me with my kitchen today. So thank you. I know they're listening. Thanks for the help with the kitchen and
Yay.
the birthday. That was so nice. Thank you, everyone. I do work in finance in my real life, so of course it was first week of the month, so we were doing close, so super busy at work. But I like being busy. So what is today?
You do, and Jane is my very, very, very favorite
Thank you. Okay, I'm
human
going to
as far as finance. Go for it.
slide PDF. Oh, wait. Can I just share my screen? Yes, share my screen. Yeah. Screen sharing. Okay. Why can't I see it on the, oh, here we go. All right. Sorry, guys. I'm not like the best. So today, because this is Clay's channel.
Still learning.
We're going to talk about financial.
But you're taking over, so have at it.
Thank you. So today we're going to learn about financial preparedness and planning for uncertain times. I'm here. So as Clay has always talked about on his channel, being prepared and being ready for economic downturns, job losses, medical emergencies, or natural disasters, which, some of us have been impacted by some of those things. The importance of a financial safety net and how financial preparedness ties to overall emergency planning. So one thing, and I think, Clay has talked about this over and over, is having an emergency fund. What is it she's saying? Oh, having interwebs issue. Hi, Clay. I see that. Or is that you?
That's me.
Okay.
Yeah.
Having an emergency fund, and I know we've talked about this, having at least 3 to 6 months if something happens, so that we have liquid assets, which is cash, but also, are you able to barter stuff? So sometimes you say, well, I don't have cash laying around, right? But if it's an emergency, do we have something to barter, right? Maybe some coffee or some rice that you can barter with someone else, especially if it's a natural disaster, right? And help's not coming, but you need something and maybe you can't use cash. So having something that's bartered. One of the issues is I have friends that were impacted by down in Newport, Tennessee, is they were saying, everything's out, right? So they can't even get, for a while there, they couldn't get to the bank to pay their bill. So, we've talked about this, I know, on streams about the high interest rate and debt. So trying to get that down, paying our debt down. But it's also good to have income diversification. So I wrote side gigs, investments, passive income. That could be a yard sale, right? You have a yard sale, you save your money up, you put it in the fund, or you sell on Facebook Marketplace, right? So that you have some other income coming in if something happens and you have some money there. Thank you, Melissa, for making sure, of course, we have insurances to cover anything that's going to happen. And what we're going to talk about today is, of course, emergency supplies, but also how we can use those emergency supplies in our everyday life. Ellen now lives in the country, and I'm sure, like me, she will also experience the jeggy grid down situations that I think her and I were talking yesterday about when summer comes and them taking your electricity to feed the air conditioned mob outside the country. So one of the things is, and I talked about, is trying to, save money where you can and reduce your reliance on external things, right? And investing in products for alternative energy or alternative food or heating solutions for, again, if a natural disaster happens or the power goes out or what have you. So one of the things, and I know Ellen and I had talked about it, she has a generator. I also have a generator, but having other things. So I do have visual aids here. You can get these small little power bricks. This is, I have a Halo Bolt, which I absolutely love. I can plug stuff into it here. I can put USB in it. It will also start my car. So if your car goes out, I have one in my car and then one in my house. So these little Halo Bolts, I got it on QVC. They were $99 probably 3 years ago on a Black Friday when they were doing one of their specials there. But you can find them on Amazon. So you can use this for power. Like I said, there's ones that will start your car and they do work. I've used them for myself. And I helped a woman at the airport with one of those start her car. You can get a little solar brick here, right? This thing will run your USB. It's also a flashlight. So you could get one of these. Take it. This is also one, but it's a hand warmer. But you can run appliances on it or run little things. And I'll show you later stuff that will run on these. But having this or having a dual fuel source generator, understand though, for those, any of the ones you have, except for maybe solar, is how much gas or propane can you store, right? Your generators is only as good as much as, fuel.
The energy source.
Correct. Solar is good, but what if we don't have power? What if it's not sunny? Okay, it's raining, like what happened with Helene. It rained for 6 days? You had no sun for 6 days. How good is that solar generator going to be? So having extra little ones around, and these aren't expensive. I got this at Aldi's on clearance like 2 or 3 years ago for $10.99, and it works great, and it's a hand warmer. I got one of these on Amazon Black Friday. It was $9.99. So having other things you can do, and that's another thing we'll talk about, because Ellen, you've been to my house, you know that there's other things that I do in my house. Or the sky is filled with smoke. Yes. So solar's great, but also with these lithium batteries, you have to be careful because we know what happens when they catch fire when you look at the Tesla cars, right? So there is that added thing with the solar and your lithium batteries that you are able to store them securely and safely so they don't catch fire, because we don't have anything that can put them out. They just let them burn. So be aware of that too, Ellen, when you have your solar generator, that you also are storing it and keeping it safe and taking those precautions. So
yes.
And another thing is, do we always want to rely on the generator for everything, right? So I talked about emergency lighting sources, but as Ellen knows, in my house, because the power goes out, every wall sconce in my house is USB rechargeable, so it is not connected. So think about every night when I turn my lights on, I'm not using any power, so that definitely brings your bill down. They sell these light bulbs here. Looks like a regular light bulb. Goes in the socket, but you'll recharge it here. It lasts. I mean, I didn't even charge it the whole time you were here, Ellen. Like, and it does different.
Oh, I know.
And you can put it in a regular lamp or in a wall sconce. You can do cold or bright, right? So this why buy? I think these are like $30, $36. But you're saving when you're doing these because one, you can have a light anywhere, a sconce anywhere, a lamp anywhere, but you're not using energy. So that valuable energy that when your power's out, these will stay on and you're not having to use these. You can recharge it with this. You can also recharge it with this if need be, right? So you can save on your electric bill too. So that's fiscally responsible. I also saw this little gem at you see the price at Dollar Tree, $3 for a little solar light. I got 2 of them. Right, put this on the test. I do a lot of light, but if you need to get around your house or you need a little next to your table for $3, again, you're saving electricity. You're saving your valuable generator, your other space. If you can charge these by solar, it's not bad. $3.
Mm-mm.
I got a wall sconce here. I'll pull it up. So here's the wall sconce for my office. USB rechargeable. And then it does
everything. Can you? Oh, that's so cool. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you,
Jane? Okay. So everything Jane has in her house, if the power went out, she's good.
correct.
If like the whole grid went down, she's fine. Because every light in her house, she can recharge with her generator and light her entire home.
Cook.
And cook and do solar cookers are very helpful as well. But she can do everything with just her generators and the sun.
Correct. My electric bill's under $100 every month. So most people it's $200-300. Let's see. You can also find these. So I mean, my point is use these, right? Your electric bills are off the chart right now, right? If you can use these, then you're not using the electric bill. So see, these are little lamps, little flashlight. I use them when I walk my dog and my cat. But also the power goes out. I can hang them. I can set them. I keep them on every window in every house, as Ellen has seen with these too. Mm-hmm. So, I mean, the whole part of this talk is let's be financially responsible, right? Let's use what we have, right? Save money. I have Ryobi tools. Anyone that knows me knows I have a ton of tools. I do Ryobi. Other brands have the same thing. So this is a Ryobi battery, but this is also light and it's super bright. I can use this as well. I actually have the Ryobi generators too. So you can take these batteries and use them in their generator. So not only are you using the batteries for the tools, but then you can use them as a generator. The 40-volt ones, I have the really big 40-volt ones for the snowblower. Can run my refrigerator for a couple days. So yeah. And then I could use the solar to recharge the Ryobi batteries if need be, right? And because
the battery, I was about to ask that about the solar. Can you recharge your generator or recharge the batteries with the solar?
The batteries. I would recharge the batteries with the solar, right? Run the equipment. And unlike a conventional gas or propane, you can't have that generator in the house. You have to be very careful. It can't be in the house because of the carbon monoxide. This, I can just carry the little generator. I have them here, but they're kind of heavy. I can just carry this anywhere, right? Just carry the batteries and stick them in. So it's much safer. But again, they have lights. and we'll talk about other stuff. Kerosene lamps I put on the list. You can do kerosene lamps. Thrift those. I always see them in the thrift store for super cheap. You just have to go to the hardware store and get a wick that's $2-3 and some kerosene. That's what people used to heat, light their homes with for years. I mean, the Amish still use them for their homes, right? That's what our modern light bulb was to. When Thomas Edison was inventing the light bulb, he was trying to reproduce the light from a kerosene lamp. So I do keep 4 kerosene lamps. Now, obviously, you don't want to knock them off and you want to monitor them, but certainly they can light your house too. And if you want to save on a little electricity, you can have a romantic dinner and sit it on the table, and then you'll have that as well in your house. So these are things, and you can thrift some of this stuff. I've seen other solar stuff in the store, or the sticks. You can do the sticks, you break them and they light up, right? I also have motion sensors around your house to be safe as well. If you can have
You
a
can
regular,
also put
yeah.
you can put those glow sticks in the freezer if they're not out, and pop them in the freezer, and they will save for as long as you want them. Yeah, and we've also got the motion sensor solar lights out here.
Ellen knows I have those too. Just so you know,
Yes.
I disabled the alarm. So when you come, but they do
Oh my
make,
God. Y'all, that is the scariest freaking thing. I was just making a phone call, just kind of checking in with the world. And I walk, this is like at midnight. Jane's asleep. I walk past our tiny house, and this alarm that is loud as you can imagine starts going off. I'm like, oh shit, oh shit, oh shit. What do I do?
you
What do I
want the
do?
whole
I'm like,
neighborhood.
I run back and I'm like, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I don't even know what to do right now. Is it going to go off? Do I need to do something? I don't know how this works.
It is solar powered, and it's a light and an alarm. So I
You got to
actually
tell
had
me where you got that.
it's Amazon. I didn't want Amazon.
Okay. Okay.
So where my tiny house was before I bought this house, I was living on my sister's farm, and I had my garden out in front of it, right? So animals don't like lights and sound, right? And living in the country, you have to worry about deer or animals coming to eat out of your garden, right? Not mine,
Mm-hmm.
because you saw it. It'll just, the bionic lights come on, the alarms go off. So I never really had like a vermin problem, but yes, they're good to have, for security, right? And it's just solar. I mean, they're not that, I don't know how much they are now with the tariffs and stuff, but they weren't that expensive. And it was just 2 of them, and no one's going to steal that tiny house because they'll hear you 5 miles away.
I was terrified, and I was welcome there. I was like,
so yes.
yes, someone might shoot me if I move. I don't know. We'll figure it out.
That's probably true up here. So another thing that you want to, the must-haves, and I use it. So the first one I got this at Aldi's, is a little swamp cooler. And again, it was $14.99 last year. You add a little water in either side, and it's a little air conditioner.
How cool is that?
And you have lights too, so if you want mood lighting. So when I first moved I bought 3 of these. I wish they had more, but I got 3 of them. And I was able to do some testing. I turned off all the power in my house to see how long I could live, if the power went out. And after a week, I was doing just fine. I plugged 2 of them in here.
I have no doubt.
I plugged 2, and I have another power bank. So I charged these power banks, 2 here, and then the other one, and I plugged all 3 of them in, and I laid on the couch and had that blow on me, and it did great. So that was a little cooling. It's not going to cool your whole house, right? But if you have it pointed on you, it's great, right? In my house, I have a basement because I'm up here, which maintains a constant temperature, which is cool. So I could always go down in the basement, but I was up in the living room. 3 of them blowing on me did great. So you can have that if the power goes out. And also, because I turned it off, my electric bill that month was like $40 for shutting everything off. They also have something called the Vesta. This is the Vesta. It runs on 3 cans of canned heat. When you go to parties or weddings and they have the little candle things under the food to keep it warm. It runs on 3 of those. It does great. Again, one room. So if I need to heat one room, like my bedroom, I could take it in there. Now there is an open flame, so you have to watch it, but it does work. They say you can cook on it, but I don't want to be cooking with a flame shooting out. Okay. That's just me. I mean, I did it.
Mm-mm.
I put water on there. I heated soup up, but it does work. And I said, I got it to heat my bedroom. No problem. So it's a little thing. I think it's like, I don't know what it's up to now. Let's see if I can look up how much it is now. Vesta, where are you? It's $139 now if you want to buy one. So you could definitely keep one room of your house warm if you need it to be warmed on
Nice.
the 3 cans. My tiny house, honestly, it is a tiny house. If there was an emergency, I'd go up there. 2 cans to warm the house up, and then 1 would keep it really, really warm. It's a tiny house, right? So, but in this house, I was able to keep a whole bedroom warm when my power went out once. So that works great.
Nice.
Another thing you can get is fans, right? So again, this is a little Ryobi fan. They have USB fans you can get on Amazon that one of these would run a little USB fan, no problem. I have about 5 or 6 of these. Ellen knows. I even have a big, huge one that can like blow your head off if you need be. Remember, I had it outside when we were solar cooking to cool us off.
Oh,
So
because that one day it was so hot.
I'm not the next day.
Mm.
Another thing I have is kerosene heaters. I have 3 of them. So when I moved into my house, the one thing is I asked the neighbor who's in his 90s. He's the original owner of his house. There were 4 brothers that built the houses where I'm at. He's the last surviving brother in his 90s. And I said, how long has the power been out, sustained been out? And he said 4 days. So I planned for 2 weeks. So I could totally heat my house, which I've done to test it. I have 10 days worth of kerosene here that I could totally heat my house, no problem. And that's running all 3 of them to keep my house at 68 degrees.
Let me ask you a question.
Mm-hmm.
With China basically putting all the parts into our power system, our grid whatever what are they called? Sorry, I'm
Transformers.
having like a day. Yeah.
On Polish Day? I totally understand.
Yeah. So what is I mean, do you think there's a chance, or what percentage of chance do you think that we're going to have an issue with that, with the grid?
Well, I don't think it's going to be China causing the problem. Our grid can't handle what
Okay.
we have now. And you can see, which is
True.
why you come into my house, the power is rolling black. They are saying it's not, but I believe it's rolling backups, right? And it never really
Right.
happens in the winter. It always happens in the summer during the day. Now, the only reason I know about it is because I work from home, right? And that's when people use the
Right.
most energy. So I believe that they're siphoning it off where there's less people and moving it because they can no longer handle the load, right? They don't want to call it rolling blackouts. If we think about it in other episodes and what Clay has said in the past is we're one of the biggest trading partners for China, and China needs us, right? Why on earth would you
True.
attack your market, right? Why would they come after us? All they would do is
Well,
destroy their
yeah.
economy.
I guess I think about Taiwan and how important is that as far as us
I don't
protecting
think they
Taiwan?
have, in my personal opinion, I think that they're all bluff and bluster. I don't think that they have as much as they say. This one child policy, I think, just really destroyed them, right? They're in population decline, collapse. They fully collapsed, right?
Yeah.
There's not enough young people to fight. It's always young men that go to war, right? They don't have a lot of young men to go to war, right? So what, or even to build the munitions and things like that, right? So think about it. We're their biggest trading partner, right? They don't have the manpower anymore. Why on earth do you think they would attack us?
True. And Melissa, I think the difference is a lot of it is using solar to charge the
Correct.
power banks instead
Correct.
of using the grid, right?
Yes. Right. So you're getting
Okay.
your return investment. You're using you've bought the solar, right? To me, I want the return in investment for the products that I bought, right? So like the Ryobi batteries, why do I use the Ryobi fans and stuff? Well, I already paid for those batteries and they're not cheap. I can't use my tools 24/7, right? Can't use my toys all the
Right.
time. But if I can use them for a fan, right? The battery's not sitting there. I'm using it for a fan, or if I can use it to run my air conditioner or turn on the light, I'm getting my return investment on that battery and not using my electric bill. So eventually, you have that cost benefit then of when you're using solar versus I'm not tied to the grid now, or I'm not turning on the light, right? I bought that light. Yeah, it's expensive, but I know I made my money back in a couple months because in the winter, when all the lights are on in the house and all the lamps, I'm not drawing electricity for that. So that's the difference on that, Melissa.
Yeah, using the sun to charge the things is a lot, of course, cheaper, even though it's more expensive to buy the thing that charges the thing.
Correct.
Um, if that makes
But
any sense.
I've got my money back on these. I've had these for like 5 years, and I know running my little air conditioners on it, which people laugh at me, but for $14.99, I was cool when I shut everything
Yeah.
off just to see how it would go. So again, I spent $14.93 of them, right? But was it worth it to me? Yeah, it was. So when the rest of you are sweating because the power's out, I'm gonna be sitting here with my little fans. Are the power banks solar? Yes and no. This is solar. This is not, but I can charge this with the solar, right? Is the Halo Bolt the Halo I have here? No, this isn't, but I'll charge it with my solar generator. Or I also have a solar table. There's the GoSun
She's got
sold
a
it.
killer solar table. Yeah.
Yeah. So it's great. You take it to the beach and put your cooler under it, and you'll be charging your cooler and cooking with the sun. But yeah, I can charge with the solar table too if I don't want to get out my panels. And I do have portable panels. So yes.
Yeah, I've got 2 portable panels to charge my generator, which is awesome. It's the EcoFlow.
I have an
And
EcoFlow and an
yeah,
Energen.
Clay bought one. Yeah, and I got it. They had a killer deal on it, and so I went ahead and bit the bullet.
So for this one
To
thing,
really,
for people in the city who don't have, you can get there's things you can get if you have a window where the sun comes in, you can. So my tiny house has has a little solar controller. The panels come and I can plug into it. It has lights. You can buy those. I think the name's King Sun. I don't know if they're still in business, but other ones make them. So you can do that. You certainly can get one of these little ones, Melissa, for under $20. Go on Temu, and you can use this and charge your phone with it. And this is solar. You can get the EcoFlow that I have. EcoFlow makes a small one with small solar panels. You can get that as well. If you don't, like I said,
porch.
Right. You can get ones that are just batteries. So you could get, and you don't have to do Halo. It's just what I have. But since it saved my turkey twice, my butt twice, I'm pretty loyal. You could get a Halo, and yes, you're going to charge it with on the power, your electric. But if something goes out, you certainly can plug a light into it, right? You can charge your phone with it because it can start a vehicle. So it can run a few things. Now, is it going to run a microwave? No, it won't run a microwave. But we'll talk about there's other ways to cook if the grid's down for you. So you have to decide like what your budget is and what you can do. But certainly for you in California, you could charge these lights up once and then not have your lights plugged in, and this will last you, depending, how much sun. Obviously, in the winter, you need to charge it more than the summer, but you could certainly buy one of these little lights and use that. Or what I said, like all the sconces on my walls, Amazon has them, not too much, and they're USB rechargeable. So you certainly could do
Yeah,
that.
and I'm thinking no matter where, tell me if I'm wrong, no matter where you are, you've got some kind of window you can open or something that you could, put a solar panel, because they aren't that big. Put them up there and
Yeah.
let them charge. Because once you charge your generator, it's charged through like regular power. But to charge, and if you need, I guess this is more of an emergency issue, but if you
Yeah.
need to charge panels, you're going to figure out how to do it. You can take everything outside and yeah.
Yeah. Go to the park, put a blanket out,
Yeah.
put the solar panels, and let it charge. I have a little river one. I do have a different brand, a bigger one, but the river's
Mhm.
about this, the River 2 is about this big. So it's super light compared to my other stuff. So you could have that as well.
Right.
So let's
Sorry,
talk
my
about
puppies are yelling.
this is something I did not know, and I found out from the people in Newport, Tennessee. Even if you have water and you can flush your toilet, if your toilet is either on the city and you still have water, eventually it will back up if everyone's using it, because the pumps aren't running to send it to the sewage station. So once the line happens, it will back up into your house. So you can
Correct.
only have so many flushes. Another thing, depending on the type of septic you have. Now, I have what's called a cesspit. It's like 15 feet deep. It goes down, it goes out. Mine's all gravity fed. There's no electric. Now, what my sister has is she has a newer one where it's 3 holding tanks, and then there's electric that pumps that push it out to the drain field. Again, you can't continue to use those if your power's out for sustained time. So one of the things, and I just bought it, was they suggested a portable toilet, which they didn't have. So I did buy one. It's called a little camp toilet, and I have it on the screen. It's really small, right? You can, you put a bag in it, and you can either use like wood chips, or they have like these little pellets you can drop in there. I have a cat. I would just put kitty litter in there to cover it up, right? And then you can just take the bags up. So if it's a sustained outage like the people have in Newport and Western Tennessee, you need to have a way to handle sanitation. So buying a little portable toilet. I had no idea that it would back up if you were in the city, because I always thought if the water kept running, you could still use the toilet. Yeah, no. So people had that.
Yeah.
So maybe their house wasn't damaged at all, but when the sewage backed up, it damaged their house, which you don't even hear about that on TV because their house wasn't destroyed. But
Right.
that one of the very real things that happened. Another thing is like having extra toilet paper, right, with you. They do make reusable toilet paper, or you can use towels. Sometimes you're going to need that, right, if you don't
What?
have toilet paper. Yeah, they
Really?
make. Yeah, I had a friend that grew up 17 miles off Blacktop, also in a cabin, and in their
Mhm.
house they had their own. The mother would make cloths, and they had their own cloths to use, and then they would put them in a bucket, like a laundry thing after they used them, and then she would wash them and reuse them. So they do make toilet paper that you can buy, reusable toilet paper.
I was gonna say we
White.
call that a washcloth.
Yeah, but
Yeah.
I bought
Yeah.
them. Sears catalog, LOL. Yeah. If we still had one, yes, Melissa, but now it's called Amazon. Um,
It's
they
switched.
they also make little tiny compressed things in a bag, or you can have those as well too. And it's good to have. Like I did buy the camp tool. After I heard that, I like freaked out because I'm thinking, oh, okay, oh no, I can't. I gotta use the toilet. So I did buy a little camp toilet if something happens. So it's a good thing to have, especially like if in the city or something. Obviously, if to stain though, you're going to have to figure out what to do with the bags. So you probably have to bury them. But if it's a week or, like a week or something, at least then you could use the toilet, right? So think about that, which I didn't think about it until, the hurricane. Another
Or
thing you
you
can,
can, hang on, you can, if you want to, just buy a toilet seat and put it on a 5-gallon bucket.
you can.
You
This
need
folds
to
flat,
do
but
something.
mine folds like to this round. It's like pizza box round and then like that thick, and it just snaps
That's
down.
awesome.
So it's down in the basement on the shelves, my supply shelf. It's down there. If I
Hmm.
never need it, great. Hey, if I go camping, it is a camp toilet. It has a little bag. I could take it camping with me. So, yeah, you have it.
So you could put like a trash bag in there, and
They have,
if you
yeah,
needed to.
you put a trash bag in there.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then I bought there's this little powder you can in there, and it like makes everything a gel. But I also have kitty litter.
Huh.
You do it for your cat.
Yeah.
So I could just put kitty litter in there too. So I didn't want to go
Awesome.
in his kitty litter bucket, if the worst case, he would never talk to me again.
No, he wouldn't. He'd be like,
So
Mom, really?
another thing you can get, and these are super cheap, these little portable washers, get them on Temu for like 20. I actually wash my delicates in it, and I've had the power out here for 3 days.
Really?
And yeah, the spinner little thing does not work. So you're not going to spin dry. It does a great job. Yes, I like had power out for 3 days. I'm like, I need underwear. It's not going to do a lot, right? It's going to do like one
Right.
pair of jeans. You could do like 2 t-shirts, or you can it does great. I actually do my delicates in it. Now you could do like your
Yeah.
underwear and your bra. It spins it and everything. But you got to make sure
You
it's
like 5 pair of underwear, right?
yeah. Yeah,
At
you
least,
can
yeah,
fill 5
easy.
the
Okay,
little
cool.
spinner right here that comes with it. So you fill it
Hmm.
up, you just put the water in there, and then there's a hose so you can drain it. I don't even put the hose on. I just put it in my
Nice.
sink when I use it. They make USB
Hmm.
ones, or, my Halo Bolt can run it if I have to. Look, in an emergency, I need clean underwear, right? So you can
Yeah.
wash them here. It does great with delicates. You can run it. I ran it on the Halo Bolt, no problem. They do have USB ones too, so you could do a USB. This little spin dryer doesn't work, so you're going to have to hand wring them, right? People that are living off grid and they want to do more things, they have one Wonder Washer. They've been around forever. Basically, you put it in, you seal it, and then you're going to be doing the spinning, right? Yourself. You're going to be cranking it and
You're
getting your
churning butter.
Yes.
Yeah.
So, so you can get a Wonder Washer as well too. But again, I
Nice.
was pleasantly surprised when I got it, because when Temu first came out, they were giving free stuff away. So I got it for free on one of their promotions. And I was like, okay, I'll give it a try. And I was pleasantly surprised how well it actually did work. So you can try that as well. So that's another thing you might want to consider. I have not seen them
We have
though
to
thrift them.
we have to take a quick Clay Moffat break because I just want to brag to him that I
Okay.
did 6 loads of laundry today in my Speed Queens,
Oh,
and
stop
it
it.
takes him like a day and a half to do a load of laundry for the
Me too. Me
dryer.
too. Me too. Yes. I'm thinking about the
Speed
speed.
Queens. Oh my god. Oh my god, they're the best. My
Stop.
clothes are softer
Now, have you
and
tried
cleaner. It
to
is the
run?
weirdest thing.
Have you tried to run the Speed Queen on your generator?
I have not.
That might be something when you plug in you want to try. So you have
Speed
water.
Queen's best. Yeah.
Well,
Speed,
it's all about the
yeah,
energy consumption you use, right?
yeah,
And how much energy
right,
things use, right? I would think I would never use a dryer, because that will just drain everything you have. Now, yeah, if you
correct.
have like a dual fuel source one, you could, but you're still going to be eating up all your gas and stuff, right? So, but you could, but there's something called a clothesline. If the power's out for a couple days, use the clothesline, right? Or hang it
Oh,
over
heck yeah. Forget the
something.
dryer. Yeah,
Correct.
right.
But for me, yeah, I mean, I could wash Yeah, it would take a while. I wouldn't wash. You can't wash sheets and towels in there, right? But you could wash
No.
clothes, one or two t-shirts you can stick in there. So you could have, a few clean clothes, and you always feel better, I think, when you're clean. So yeah,
I always get a hate text like every 2 or 3 days from
I
Clay going, "I hate you because you have the Speed Queen."
I might
So
hate
I
you
had to
too
just like,
after
"Okay, thank you."
that. Another thing we should talk about is water and storage. So it's different in whatever part of the country you live in. But for one person, 1 month, how much water do you think the average single person in a month uses? How many gallons? Just take a gander.
Are we talking drinking or total?
Everything. Total water. If you needed to store water for 30 days, right? And I'm
Mhm.
talking about showers, clothes, cooking, if you have a garden and you want to water the garden, how much on average do you think you have to store?
This is an American who has, like, water coming into their home.
Well, the power's out. Power's out, right?
Okay.
How much
3,000
water?
gallons.
No, one person, 1 month.
3,000 gallons. No?
It Arizona would be more, but where I live, it's about 450 gallons people use.
Really?
Yes.
Huh. I would have guessed more.
No, I mean, I'm just talking about one person 30 days. Now,
Right.
obviously, you're not going to wash laundry every day, but that's what they tell you to store. So here is they tell you to store it's 459 gallons is what they tell you to
Huh.
store.
But you gotta be
Yeah,
careful because you got toilet, you got washing, but you gotta be that's someone you're obviously being very careful about how much water you're using.
correct. Over a
Right, okay.
thousand. So one of the things, I
Alright,
got it
I
in the
got a
pocket.
tinkle. Excuse me. I'll be right back.
I'll keep going without you.
Okay, I know.
One of the things that you should always have either a Berkey filter or you should have some kind of filter on your water. Pure makes water. So where you live, sometimes they'll recommend it. So where I live, the government here, the agency said that we should have the pure, the P with the U and the two dots R water. I do have a whole house water filtration system because I'm on a well. But if the power's out, make sure you have a Brita, or they have these life straws you can get, or they have like this raindrop thing that you can get. So make sure, that one, you have a way to filter your water if you're not storing your water. Have some kind of water, even if you think it's going to be out for a day or two. Is there a way you can have a few gallon jugs maybe in the bottom of a closet so you can flush your toilet? Have some bottled water around. If you're in the country like me, I have rainwater collection. But let's say you're in the city and you need water and it starts raining. Do you have some pots that you can go outside and put some pots out? Snow takes a lot of snow. Okay. 1 inch of rain is 12 inches of snow. So if it's snowing, think about how much snow you would have to gather to melt so that you could drink it. They also have purification tablets that you can purify your water with purification, and always rotate your water. So I always try to keep 3 cases of water in my house. I wait till they go on sale, and then I'll start just using the bottled water or saving it and then just kind of rotating it through. So that I do have water in my house at all times if the power goes out, right? Okay, hold on. Let's go to the next thing. So let's talk about some other things that are important to have in your house. And it's things that you can eat maybe without, maybe you don't have a stove or maybe you don't have a way to cook. So one thing that I always keep, and I started this on Monday. So it's Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, is sprouts. You can make sprouts. This is a type of sprout. Sorry, it's dripping. So I did different types of sprouts. You also, I don't know where I have it. Oh, here we go. Here's sprouts. You can buy them on Amazon or different sites. Just look up sprouts. You can buy microgreens. I got this at Dollar General for $1, and you can grow these. And these are the different sprouts: Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday. Right? You can use them in salads. You can just eat them. So you have that option if you want to do sprouts. Now, I got the little fancy container here, but what most people do is they get a mason jar and they take the center out, and you can just put like a nice clean cloth or a screen. Put your sprouts in there every day, add water, shake it up, and drain the water out. And you can grow sprouts that way. Again, mason jars, you can thrift those and get them really cheaply. So you can do mason jars. Another thing you can do is, I have this here. If you don't have a lot of space to grow, right? Melissa, you're in the city. If you have a balcony with a railing, you can get planters to put on the railing, or you can get hanging baskets and you can put salad greens out there. Lettuce grows great in hanging baskets. Strawberries, you can get strawberry plants that grow great in hanging baskets. You can put a lot of things in just a little space. Another thing I was trying in Ellen Salt last year is something called straw bale gardens. This is great. I've tried it. It works great. It does take a little practice, but there is, make sure you get the book by Joel Karsten. You can also go to his website. He has free monthly classes. They will answer questions. If you send it in, you can join the little garden club. It's free to join. And he'll answer your questions. But with one small straw bale, you can grow on the top and all the sides. So I find, you could put potatoes in there. You can put tomato plants in there. You can put a pepper plant in there. What else? I grew, forget. I had a huge garden and I grew everything in here. I was very skeptical, but it ended up coming great. On the sides, I had like watermelon plants coming out and pumpkin on the other side. So you can grow this. A straw bale can go anywhere. So you can have it on a driveway. You can have it on the side of a patio, on your deck, or I put it out in the grass. But again, think about this. You can have a raised bed. You can grow stuff on the raised bed. So you want to make sure that you have food to eat. Also, when we were talking about earlier, having money like liquid assets, building up your pantry and having things in your pantry that you can eat that you don't need to heat up. But we will talk about on some further slides down how we can cook. But, what I always like to do, and the Amish told me this, so I do it, is freeze-dried coffee never goes bad. Look for when you find some freeze-dried coffee, store that around, right? And maybe the power's out and I need to barter and people want their coffee, right? So you might be able to barter a brick of coffee for some gasoline or something in desperate times. So also think about that. So I like to, and I know we've talked about this on other streams, is I powder my vegetables. So at the end of the season, I dry all of my vegetables and then I powder them. And then I can make an easy soup, or I can sprinkle them on top of a salad so that I am still getting that nutrition in when you need it. All right, let's go to the next slide. I don't see any questions, so we'll keep going. Another thing is, how are we going to cook, right? Because we all like to cook. Another thing that I ordered here was called the Ember. It's made by Instafire, the same one as the Vesta that I showed earlier. With the Ember, you can make, it's a little oven, and it does use, again, yes, a non-electric can opener. That is correct, Melissa. I don't have an electric can opener. I still use the twist one. I also use a hand mixer. So having those things is important. So the first thing I brought up is the Ember. It is Instafire as well as the other stove, like I said, the Vesta. And it works on the canned heat again. If you take it outside, you can use charcoal and wood, but that's outside. If you're using it inside, you can use canned heat. You can put canned heat in there. And the one thing is, and I have used the Vesta. The one thing with that is you have to be able to regulate temperature. So it's about adjusting they have knobs on the front and back to adjust airflow. But also, like if you're cooking bread or you're cooking, I made pizza in it, is you have to learn to rotate the pizza around because the one side's going to get hotter than the other. But it does work. And in an emergency, I have a little oven if I want to make bread. Another thing that you can use, I have it here. And I used to use this in my tiny house. So you can go to Dollar Tree for $1.25 and get 20 candles here. And they have a little candle cooker. And I have some video. So let me get the video. Oh, yes. Oh, yes. I didn't believe it. I saw it on YouTube, but then I had to try it. So hold on. Let me stop sharing and getting the other screen up.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and coffee, dandelions coffee.
Yes, you can make your own. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
I want to present. I want to share my screen. Share screen. Here we go. All right. So the first one is I made bacon. Now the caveat is it will take a while and it has to be room temperature. But here's me making bacon on that same candle cooker, right? Here's the
No way. That's amazing.
I made bacon on it. So let's load the bacon. Oh, sorry, we have a commercial. I put it on my Rumble chat. I just put stuff on Rumble. So hold on.
We're getting there. Hang on. How cool is that?
There's my candles.
Just with 4 candles.
4 little candles from Dollar Tree. 20 candles from Dollar Tree. Okay, hold on. Let me get back. I did this the other day so you could see. I made scrambled eggs with bacon bits. Always start at room temperature. I had to use a clip thing. So there's the candles. I put some butter on it. It will burn you, just so you know. It will burn you. And we'll watch it make some scrambled eggs for us. I'm mixing them up. And you'll see how fast it'll cook.
That's awesome.
Those candle cookers are super cheap. You can get them on Temu or Temu or Amazon. You can get them. And there's the egg. You can see they're already starting to cook. And you'll see how fast I had scrambled eggs. So the food should be at room temperature. Yes. If you put it frozen, Melissa, it will take a long time and you'll probably need another set of candles. So you could do it, but take a long time. But if you can get stuff at room temperature, we're scrambling eggs. The eggs were at room temperature. Here we go. You can see them cooking. And you'll see how fast we were done. I've also
using like eggs is the best way.
I just used an egg, or you could use, an egg and a thing. Now, look, if your power's out and your food's going to go bad, you can start cooking stuff, right? But
yeah,
look, you got 20 candles, and I didn't even use all the candles up. You can see that there's still plenty of life to these candles from making these eggs here. Right. And you can see I do use this like when I was in my tiny house to cook because I didn't want to put a stove in there.
Awesome.
I've made sausage on there, which I didn't film sausage. I didn't have time to film everything. But I made sausage. Look, the eggs are already starting to scramble here. It is. And, if you have to get out quick, they come and there's an evac order. You can have this in a little bag with 20 candles and have some food. That's like Melissa, they make vegan eggs now. It's called just eggs, but it's really not eggs. It's vegan. So you can definitely use that instead. But I think they jacked the price up on those too. But this is an heirloom egg. So yeah, I have a source. But yes. But here we go. We're almost done with our eggs here.
That's
I'm a little
awesome.
it's cheap. So you can think there's other
Yeah.
ways you can cook. Another thing
So
that you can go ahead.
could you put that same mixture into the solar cooker?
Oh heck yeah. I'll pull that
And
up
it'd be
next.
fun.
Yeah.
Okay.
You can always line the pan like I told you, though. Otherwise you'll be scrubbing
Hmm.
till the pan come in.
Oh yeah.
$7.99. This is a little tiny camp stove. So if you don't have a candle cooker, you can get a camp stove, right? All these I get these. They have them in the fall. I get them at Aldi's. It's a little campfire, so you can stick it in here,
Nice.
and right, it's does more than the tea candle. So if you have it, or you know what, if you just have a rack, you can sit a rack on here. You just want to make sure that there's airflow because candles need air. Always watch it though. But like I said, you get a cam stove. If you don't have that, you pour. Just get like a baking rack at Dollar Tree, the wire rack, and put that on there. And you can put a pot on here and cook it. No. Are you going to get a rolling boil? No. But if you have a can of soup and you're hungry and you want a warm soup, you'll get a ham. Or, you want a warm cup of tea, you want something warm, this works, right? And you see I scrambled eggs on there. So yes, you can do that. And these a lot of times you can find in thrift stores. I got it at Walmart Easy. It was $7.99. A little camp stove. I keep it down in my supplies for emergency or what have you.
You can also take wood shavings and put them in a pan,
You
same
can't
way,
burn
and pour
shavings.
wax on them. Do what?
Wood shavings you don't really want in the house unless it's well ventilated. So just be careful with that.
True.
But yeah.
And then just put wax on them, and then you could take it outside and camping, and it'll burn for a long time.
Correct. Okay, you can get, again, Dollar Tree, $1.25. You can get these emergency candles, and if you need them, right? I personally have a propane stove with 3 months of propane for that stove if the power goes out, because, it goes out all the time. So I have a liquid propane stove where I live. So that's how I get gas. They come every couple weeks and fill it up so I can cook. But also I was talking about you can have a Weber grill if you want the Weber grill or whatever grill you have. I have like a Weber grill. And of course we know you're going to have to go on Rumble, though, to look at our solar cooking antics because our friends on the tubes here thought they took it down for whatever reason. Alan and I, solar cooking. But I gave her one of these. You have one of these little solar cookers. Yes, if the sun's shining. And as I told her, I always line it with parchment paper when I'm doing it for easy cleanup because I cooked eggs in here without the parchment paper. Yeah, it was a mess to clean up. So either I use the little cups that come with it or I'll use the parchment paper. But yes, you can you can hard boiled eggs in here too, just so you know. So you can
Jane,
do
someone asked me, can you solar cook in the snow?
Oh, the winter sun is the best. So think about it. You're outside in the snow, right? It's a sunny day, it's snowing, and you're squinting, right? That is the best time to solar cook. You have a small window, right? Depending on where you are. If you're above the 45th parallel, which is Washington, D.C., you only have about an hour or two, but because it is so bright, right? Maybe 2-3 hours because it's so bright. The box cooker's not so much. I know people that have had success. I haven't. But with this, yeah, I open it up. And I've been, when I first got it, my sister and I, we didn't know how long it would take. So we got store biscuits from the Dollar Tree, right? Because we didn't want to waste too much money. And in 4 minutes, they were burnt to a crisp in the summer snow. In the winter snow, sorry. In the summer, they take about 7 to 8 minutes. So yes, you can definitely cook in the winter. I know a lot of people that ski and take it with them and then they have it and they can cook with it. I told you I keep it in the car with me, and when I'm traveling I'll stick it out, and you saw how fast we could cook stuff in here.
And you
So
can boil water, you can cook soup, you can cook because it's not just flat, it goes up
yeah,
as well.
if you're gonna do water, and that's on my Rumble channel. If you look for Jane Post out there on
Mhm.
Rumble, I have a few, and I just basically did it for my friends. But you're all my friends, so you got to my Rumble channel and see me
Yes.
boiling water. I don't do it for money. This comes so you can definitely, when I'm boiling water, and I did in the winter boil water in here, and I had it set up here, and it did. Now, is it going to boil in 5 minutes? No, I said it took me like 20 minutes, but you can hear me in the video where I burnt my hand when I took the cap off.
Yes.
So yes, be super careful when you're cooking here too, because I've incinerated stuff in here before and burnt myself. So just be super careful when you're doing that. So this is where we were talking about, and when you're investing in some of this off-grid power and cooking solutions, right? Obviously, if the power is out and you can't cook and your food's going bad in the refrigerator, you've lost that money, right? It's gone. You've lost it, right?
Mhm.
Versus if I have a way to cook it or I have a way to store it, I do have a solar refrigerator. I do have a solar generator that I can use my refrigerators. But I did find out those deep freezers actually use the least amount of energy when stuff is frozen, because once it's frozen, it just keeps
Really?
everything frozen. Yeah, which is really weird. But I do have a little solar refrigerator or cooler thing. It does ice and whatever. I could for long term use that. Do you really want to
But
be great?
if you
Go ahead.
if you have a solar generator, you can rotate the power. If you can plug in your freezer for an hour or two, and then your fridge, and
Correct. You
then
cannot
your
run them.
water, and yeah. Do what?
You can't run well unless you have like a whole solar array. All think about it as
Right.
a door cell battery, right? You're running everything on a door
Mhm.
cell battery. During the day, you have what's called solar gain. So even though you might be plugged to it, if it's sunny, depending on how much sun and how you have it set up, you can still charge and use it. But once the sun goes down, it's all you're just using your Duracell to move it down. So with refrigerators or freezers, if it's long-term power outage, your refrigerators are designed to keep everything good for 24 hours. I would suggest every 4 hours you just run it, keep it shut, and every 4 hours let it cycle through till you hear it come on. And once you hear it go off, unplug it again, right? Then if you need to have water. Now, I don't have a transfer switch. I just have a rainwater collection up there that I can use, and extra water in the
Mhm.
house. So I can do it that way if need be. So this is one of the things about if you're grid dependent and you don't have these things, you're kind of SOL, right? And we hear all the time of people losing food in their house because it's been more than 24 hours. One thing that you might not know, Ellen, because you've never, if someone ever told you, is freeze a penny in an ice cube. And
Yep.
if you open
Mhm.
your freezer and it's water, then you know that, okay, it's not frozen. You will have to cook it or use it, right? More than likely, if you do see the penny in water, you've lost everything in the refrigerator, but you still have a little time to cook everything that's in the freezer. So,
Correct.
thinking about that and wanting to have that. Like I said, I do have, and a lot of people make them. I know Bouge RV makes them. I know that the Go Sun makes them. I forget who else makes them, but they make solar refrigerators. So mine does a freezer and a refrigerator. It does run off a battery. It's meant to go with the solar table. So you can use the solar
Mhm.
table to charge the battery that keeps the refrigerator going slash freezer going. I do have one of those, but my generators are more than capable of keeping my refrigerator going for at least a week, if not more, if I'm recharging the Ryobi batteries with the sun during the day.
Right.
I could keep it. And like I said, I would only turn it on like every 4 hours. My big
Right.
boy generator, I keep enough fuel for a couple days, but big boy could easily run it if I need to too. So just be aware,
But
when the power is down. Go ahead.
your solar table is pretty powerful, correct?
I'm above the 45th parallel. So in the summer, yes. The winter, no. I'm only going to get a little bit of sun in the winter.
But is it better than like having just a solar panel?
I
Your
have
table.
5. My table's 100-watt solar. So during the
Okay.
day, yeah, if it's sun, it's 100. So I have that, plus I have 500 watts. So I have really 600 watts. So yeah,
Gotcha. Okay.
I want to be able to charge my solar generator fairly quickly.
Right.
And the winter, it's hard. I will say it's hard in the winter just because it's cold and gloomy here.
Right.
Versus if you're below DC, you're usually okay. Below that's what they call the 45th parallel. So if you're below the 45th parallel, you're going to probably get good sun. For us in the winter, we have a lot of those dark, hazy days where
Mhm.
you can get a little bit of solar gain. But yeah, they told me if I got a solar array to run this house, that I would need 3,400-watt panels to run it in
Wow.
the winter. Yeah.
Okay.
Tiny house, though, I'd be fine. Like I said, that's my backup
Yeah.
plan. If something happens, I can ditch this house and I can take that in the woods and live indefinitely. Even it doesn't use that much power, right? My lights are uh you solar lights, like they charge.
USB. Yeah.
No, the ones in there, that it's a solar lighting in there.
Okay.
It runs off a controller. And I have a little tiny solar power in the window. I can cook with my candle cooker. There's only the tiny house barely draws like 500 watts of power.
Wow. Okay. Wow.
I'm not running big appliances in there, right? So the only thing
Right.
it really needs to run, I guess if I had my TV on and my computer plugged in
Mhm.
and the toaster oven going, that I would probably draw 1,000 watts. But usually I don't have all those things going. When I was living up there, I didn't have all those things going. I had my computer for work. You're
Right.
not keeping your computer plugged in the whole time. And I had a little refrigerator, a little under counter refrigerator. So really, I think I made my money back on that. Tiny
Oh,
house, I
heck yeah.
bought it at a good time when they were super cheap and the company was just starting, and she's done really well. And I know people who live in tiny houses, and just the amount of money they save living in a tiny house. Martha and I went down to visit Tiny Town, and we met one of the residents there who lives in just the cutest little Hobbit designed house with the roof and the round door.
Aw.
And she was telling Martha and I that to live in the tiny house is $227 a month. That's her lot rent, her water, and her electric and sewer.
Wow.
Yeah. She
That's
works
nothing.
part-time. I know, she works part-time, so she got laid off and just was like, oh, I'm going to lose everything. So she just sold everything. She came down. She got a good deal on it. It was somebody's tiny house they just wanted to get rid of. So she had it gutted and redone. It is adorable. And then she works in Newport, Tennessee, in the gym. And so she has a small bathroom,
Right.
but she says, you know what? I sit there at the front desk at the gym. If no one's there, I get paid to work out. I can take my shower there. I'm there anyway working out. And she makes enough money that she can afford to live like that. Food. And then the only other thing is insurance on the car in the tiny house. But all in, I
True.
think she says, I think all in everything, that would be food, your insurances, everything. Everything that she spends in a month is $600.
That's
She says,
wow.
and that's part-time. So you can make $600 a month part-time, no problem. And she said, I've never had so much money in my life because you can't buy stuff and keep putting it in the house. And her house is her kitchen's like nicer than mine. It's a big U-shaped kitchen, and she has all the appliances, and she runs it she has a propane stove too, but a nice one. All of that, a nice
Right.
big refrigerator, a beautiful living room. The one thing I will say about where I bought my tiny home, and I agree with them, and not look, this is how you want to live, but they always say you have to have a really nice living room, right? Because that's where you're going to live. So if you have a nice living room, you don't need a big bedroom and you don't need a big kitchen, but you need a nice living room. So I agree. In my tiny house, it has a super nice living room, right? A small bathroom, a small thing. But you're right, when you're living and you're doing your stuff, and we know other people that, and I met a lot of people at these tiny house conventions, because once you're in, you're in. You have one, you're in, right?
Oh yeah.
I'm in. It's our own little cult, if you're into cults, but tiny homes have their little cult of people. And it's a cult. I'm just telling you, it's a cult. Maybe a good cult. I mean, it's not for everybody. I know people that have got them and then just said, I can't do it. Right. And that's fine. But the way they have now, some of them are, oh my God. Like we had friends that I told you have land, and their tiny house, when you come in, does not feel like a tiny house. They have 2 bathrooms in their tiny house, and it's super long. They have, again, an amazing kitchen. It's like L shape and a bar. You can sit at it. They have a beautiful living room. Theirs runs off. They're totally off grid on there. So you certainly can do it, right? You certainly can get off the grid.
Oh yeah.
I don't depend on the grid. You've been here. I don't need the grid here to survive. And it's me. And I don't, you're not going to buy everything at once, right? But I always say, like, try to thrift stuff, right? You can thrift a camp stove, right? You can thrift I've actually seen a solar oven in a thrift store. I didn't buy it. I wish I did in retrospect, but
oh my goodness.
I already had one. I didn't, I could have had like the big box cooker.
True.
So they had the box cooker there, and it was in the thrift store, and no one knew what it was. And I was saying, I already have one. Should I get another one? I don't know. I didn't buy it. And then when I did go back to buy it, it was already gone. So somebody had bought it. But those things last forever. And so look at the thrift store. Look for, and like I said, with the light bulbs, you can have any lamp you want. You just cut the cord. You don't need it. Right now, if you plug it in, like on mine in the living room, if you plug it in, it will just recharge on its own. If you want to plug it in, you can plug it in. But I have lamps where there's no plugs, so you can do that as well. Or the sconces, and buy them over time. I didn't buy everything at once, right? I've been amassing this stuff over years of my life to get to the point that I'm at.
Yeah, just recently I've been like just outdoor solar lights. It's like general, it's like I'll buy $5. $5. 5 more. 2 weeks later, $5. I mean, it's and like my whole thing is lit up.
They're cheaper at DG than they are at Dollar Tree. So DG will sell 6 for $5. Yeah. They're $1.25 at them. But yes,
we're out of 6-packs.
You're out of 6.
We're out of the 6-packs there.
Oh. We're out of the candles at my DG too, after someone called me and I took off like out of work. I gotta go. I have an emergency. My ass ran down to that store after you texted me. And I only had 2 buckets. I got the 2 buckets and I got all 6 of the little ones. So Ellen and I are talking about they have color. She was up here and they had color changing. Okay, she went, I'm again. So we go there and they're all sold out. So this year she went and told me, so I had to run down there because they sell out quick. But now we have color changing candles for our patios. So,
and there's citronella. It's freaking amazing. And Jane turned me on to these last year, and so I was like, went Dollar General. I was like, oh my God, there they are. I was like,
I gotta call her.
Jane, you're in the store.
I like ran so quick. I was like, I gotta go. I was telling to work. I gotta take my lunch break. I'll be back. And I'm like running out to my car as fast as I can, driving through town.
I lost an AirPod. I even went to Aiken, and went to $4 Generals there. They didn't have them out yet. Before I went to Orlando, I was like, oh my God, y'all are killing me.
Well, they stagger them. Are there any solar battery packs that would run an air conditioner? Yes, there are. Mm-hmm. But that's going to be expensive, Melissa. If you're going to get one like that, it's going to be like $5,000 or $6,000 to get to run an air conditioner, which is why I told you you can get one of these swamp coolers for like $14.99, little air conditioner that will run on a little USB. I ran 2 of them on this little thing that was $19.99 from Amazon. This was $14.99. So again, not going to cool your whole house, but it's enough if you just kind of lay on the couch and you have one blowing on the, or sitting in a chair, one blowing on your face and one blowing on your legs.
Not there. You're in
I'm
Cali.
in
Like it should be.
Yeah, I'm in Pennsylvania. They work. I mean, it gets humid here, but they do work. I use them. Or Melissa, you're gonna have to get like like one of these fans or something. They have a big one too. You can get a really big one. Another thing, I just have it as miscellaneous. They do make these USB ones that are rechargeable, so you could get a little blender too. I run that up at the tiny
Nice.
house and blend it all USB. They are making more USB appliances. Our apartment gets very, very hot when it's just a little warm outside. I also have a temperature control for all the animals. Yeah. I mean, the generators you would have to get, Melissa, for the air conditioners, one, you couldn't, unless you're going to spend like $30,000, you're not going to heat your, cool your whole apartment with it. You could get a really small window unit one and then get,
That would be better. Yeah.
but still you're going to pay $3,000-$4,000 for it. Remember, think about it. You're running off a Duracell battery, right? So you could do it, but it would be expensive.
Yeah.
Or you can get open like that. I didn't have air conditioning growing up. Martha my best friend can tell you, like, I don't even turn the air conditioner on until it's like 95 degrees because I don't get hot like normal people. So, but I'll do a fan or open the windows
Yeah, we
and
didn't.
try to do
Yeah,
fans.
we didn't have it when I was a kid in
No,
North Carolina. We had an attic fan, which you had
we
to
did
open all the
too.
windows and blow the air up. But that was it.
My father got like this big, I don't know if it was a commercial fan or something that he had in like, because the way we had an old house, so the ceilings were really high, that helped. But he had this big commercial fan somehow, and he put it in the upstairs back of the house, and then the front was all trees, so it kind of stayed cool under the trees. And then we would
Hmm.
crack all the rest of the wind, just crack them, and then that big fan would, like, you could feel it like make a wind tunnel, suck everything out of the house. So I don't know if you have cross ventilation, Melissa, where you can and Ellen saw them. I have windows units where they're the 2 little fans that you can blow them in or blow them out. And I typically during the day will blow the air out and then at night blow the cooler air in. And you could run them not all night, but you could run them on a little solar generator at night
Yeah,
for that.
yeah, yeah.
And
I've
yeah, I
had
do
to.
have a little off grid. Good.
Yeah, I've had to close the windows because the pollen down here right now is so bad.
I agree.
It's not worth it. I don't know what it's like up there in Pennsylvania, but down here, it is like insane.
It's still cold here.
My
That's
eyeballs are burning.
groundhog. So the stupid groundhog was right. I mean, it's like 37 degrees, but you know how windy it is at my house. So it's just like
What?
cutting into
What?
you. Yeah.
It was 80 today here.
No, it's 37 here. We'll start climbing here,
Good Lord.
but yeah. Good to hear you all doing a great job. Oh, and now that is
Hey,
Clay.
Clay. How you doing, boo-boo? Bill. Clay is back stateside. Glad to have you back. You must be driving back from the airport. You are missed. Glad to see you. And don't wreck the car. You're almost there.
And we did talk about financial
Um,
things.
yes, we did. And you'll be glad to know we also, I did 6 loads of laundry today. He'll be mad. But Mahoney is doing great too, the kitty cat. She actually has gone outside for like 3 times in the
Really?
past few days because she
Are you
came
teaching her
from
to be
the
like Caroline?
house.
Mm.
No, well, no, she's always been an outdoor cat,
Oh,
but
okay. Maybe she'll
I
have-
brought her here. I brought her here, South Carolina, and she's got to like you have to
acclimate.
like
Yeah.
disorient them to going back to their home because they like
Yeah,
places
so what
more than
the vet
people.
told me, yeah, what the vet told me for Caroline when I moved here, which is funny because he got weird. I used to bring him over to visit my mom, because my mom's old house,
Mhm.
and he did just fine. But when I moved in, he went berserk. So she told me keep him in one room for like at least a week. So it was my bedroom, his
Mhm.
food, his litter. He wasn't happy, but he had to use
Right.
litter. So stay in my room. And then the next week, I would only let him come to my room in the office, right? And
Right.
it was 4
Right.
weeks before I would let him outside. And then we brought his dog over. So we just walked the dog, my sister's dog. And then he figured it out right away because he is an outdoor cat. So he wants to go outside.
Yeah,
So,
Mahoney's the same, but I wanted to like disorient her. Like, don't smell anything, don't turn off, don't do, So it took about a week
yeah,
just to kind of before I went out and she started marking everything with her face, lands on
right.
their cheeks. And
Yep.
so she went very space the first day. Second day, a little bit further. Today, I was like, she gone. And right back to the door. Let me in. So
Yeah.
she's good. She's figured it out, which is
All
good.
you need is those lickables. Just Caroline, I don't care where he is. I say lickable,
Hmm.
right back
Yeah.
to the
Yep.
to the
Of
so
course,
I'll
then Melissa sent us kitty crack. So those treats from Trader Joe's, you just shake that bag. It is kitty crack. She comes running. I want it. I gotta have it.
yeah. Yeah.
So,
So everything we covered now that you're a rural lady, uh,
mhm.
what type of things do you think you could use, or what type of advice do you want from me, who is already a rural lady, as far as what you can do at your home to get yourself ready for when the power goes out?
I'm still learning, but like getting the solar power generator was huge.
Right.
Just and then putting it out, make sure that it was charging and the panels were working. That don't wait for anyone
Use
out
it.
there.
So what they
Yeah,
don't tell
make
you is if
sure.
you don't you should be using it though, because your
Mhm.
battery will not hold a charge. So if you don't use it for 6 months and then you pull it out, you can charge it, but it loses its capacity to continue to hold a charge. So you want to continue cycling it. So make
Yep.
sure you're using it in your house to
Mhm.
run something, right? Or your laptop. I keep mine in here and I run like my laptops off of them, or the little river one I'll charge my phone off of, so that I'm using it and then recharging it, using it and recharging it.
Yeah, I got it about 3 weeks ago. I ran it down, used the
Yeah.
panels to charge it to make sure the panels were working, everything was good. We'll recharge it again and then power it, go through all
Yeah.
the cycles. Excuse me, just to make sure that everything is good and fine. Yes, Melissa Moffat. He is. Tired mofo. Mhm. And I know you're laughing about the crack treats. I'm telling you, that cat, Mahoney, is a crack whore now. Thank you. She is like, I have to have that. Um, those treats, I don't know what's in them. Anyway, um,
So
yeah, the
do you have any good thrift stores around you?
I'm sure we do. Like we have like 4 flea markets. Um, and then today I went to hang on, give me a moment.
Yeah, Clay, we're all mad about the washer dryer, her gloating about it. So
So I went down to Soda City in Columbia today,
Mm-hmm.
and they have all of these markets, little thrifty resale food, candles, eggs,
Nice.
produce, which will get better as like the season moves on because early March is not a great time for all the fruits and vegetables.
Right,
But
right.
yeah, that's awesome. Oh my gosh. Did you see that? My job here is done. Yes, you've made my cat a crack whore. I appreciate that.
So for Christmas, we got Caroline a this mat that was laden with catnip, and we put it in a
Ah,
box. And he has his little opium den in there, and he goes in there, and then he just loses his mind. Once he comes out of the little opium den from inhaling that stuff for a couple of hours. That
hot
was,
mess.
I think he's starting to wear off now. It's been a couple months, but yeah, for there, it was funny for a while. Yes, it was hilarious. He's usually a very calm, mild mannered cat, and then we turned him into a crack, an opium.
Yeah.
So let's get back. We have another slide that we can talk about. Let's get that up.
You know we're not showing those, right?
I'm doing it right now. I took it off so we could chat.
Okay. Clay
Uh,
forgets, I assume. I don't know.
no, I just took it off so we could chat. So one of the things that I think is important for your financial preparedness, right, is make sure you have a financial emergency plan, right? Some savings, some budgeting, and of course investing that Clay helps us with. It's
Mhm.
important to stockpile your essential items, your food, water, and survival gear. Again, do it over time. But there are a lot of shelf stable things you can buy. Rice, if it's stored properly, never goes bad. Honey doesn't go bad. Anything that's freeze dried has a 15 to 25-year life on it. Getting some freeze dried things like Ellen, you and I talked about from your garden is powdering
Mhm.
your vegetables, so you have that right.
Right.
Start to invest in things that you can use off grid or alternative energy solutions, right? So that again, you can thrift these things, but then use them too. Like the candle cooker, go ahead and use them one night. Use it for fun. Learn to use it. Again, I got 20 candles for $1.25. The tea candles, I think they're like $14. The little candle ones. I actually have a couple of them. I have a little go bag if I ever had to evacuate that I have that in there. You can make a little toast on it if you want. Like I said, you can make different things on it. Um, what else? Try to
Yeah, don't
reduce.
ever assume I'm sorry, don't ever assume that what you have purchased will work
Correct. Try it.
unless you try it. Mhm.
You have to get familiar with all this stuff, right? The reason I knew that things had to be at room temperature to cook faster, that the candles didn't run out, is because I just did experiments and I figured it out, right? What could I cook on there? I've made toast, but I just took the little tray off and then held it with like tongs. Otherwise, you'll burn yourself, right? You don't want to lay it on there.
Right.
But you can make little toast. I made a bunch of things on there, just playing around, seeing like what I could do. If I was up in the tiny house, I didn't want to go down to the main house, and it was raining, so I couldn't solar cook. What could I make on it, right? So I've made many things on it. I've used the camp stove as well. So I didn't use the fire. If you're going to cook inside with that, make sure you're using like this, it's called sterno or instant canned heat, that they're made to be inside. So otherwise, if you're cooking on regular candles, make sure that you have proper ventilation, right? But I've cooked on the camp stove before too. So I didn't have the candle cooker, and I put a sterno on here, and you can do that. Like I said, you can thrift this. Make sure you're doing a camp stove. Candles. I have something else, but it's up in the tiny house where it had like slits in it, and I got it at a yard sale. And I could put like a big candle in it, like a big, pillar candle in it. And then it had like a top, but the slits were out. And I've cooked on that. Again, it's not going to get hot, but it will warm stuff up and, it's winter and I want a thing of soup, I can get it
Mhm.
warm enough, right? If I want an instant coffee or I'm going to make my dandelion coffee. Yes, Clay, we're going to make dandelion coffee. When you're doing your dandelions, you can make it up like a coffee or a tea. Or what I find too for me here now is I still like to drink it for the detox. I'll mix it with my regular coffee. And then in my Keurig, I have like a reusable container. So it just goes in with the regular coffee. Another thing is let's reduce our reliance on debt and strengthen our income streams if you can. Again, have a side hustle. And even if that side hustle is you having a yard sale, right? Take that money and save it up because cash is king when the power's out. You can't get to Bitcoin when there's no power, right, Clay? So have something that you can barter or have actual cash on you. Also, try to have low bills because they might not be able to make change, right? So when you go to the store, or at least here, Ellen knows the stores here do not take
Oh
credit
yeah.
cards. Big ass signs. We do not take credit cards here. Another thing is just have a communication and an evacuation plan. Because I think when watching what happened in North Carolina, there were people who couldn't find their family in days. So have a place that you're going to go and a way to communicate um, with your family. Where are you going to go? Is there a place you can all go? And I do have walkie talkies here. I think I'm going to get like a long range one. Um, but I did just get a thing in the mail that from T-Mobile that if you're a certain age now, you get a discount. And I'm of a certain age, I can get the discount. But Elon Musk is going to make them all sat phones so that you can have a signal. Again, Ellen knows at my house it's iffy at best unless you're on the Wi-Fi to make calls or to film stuff, which now because you live out in the rural area.
I
So
do. And it's a crapshoot, you know?
if the wind's blowing it's funny because if the wind's blowing the right way, I can get 5G. If it's not, then I maybe get 1 bar. I just don't know how that works, but
But then it could like change slightly and go like
yeah.
in a diagonal and you might get 5G for like 5 minutes.
And then it
It's
goes
like,
back.
"Oh, I got," and then it's gone.
So that's good too. And that is part of your preparedness too. But like I said, don't ever underestimate bartering, right? What can I barter? So
Yep.
find things. Somebody might want that candle cooker. So if it's on sale, get an extra one and some extra, even just regular candles, right? If people are you want to be careful if they're desperate. But if you have a good relationship with your neighbors, what can you give me? Maybe I need a gallon of gas because I don't think people realize when the power is out, you can't get gas at the gas station. It doesn't matter because
Yep.
there's no way to pump it, right? I will say that our gas station and hardware store here have the share backup generator. So we're pretty lucky sometimes, even if the power is out, that we can, for a short amount of time, at least still get your gas and stuff. One of the things I often see during a power outage is people out mowing their lawn. Please don't mow your lawn if the power is out and you need that gas for your generator. And then knock on my door because you're out of gas because you mowed your lawn instead of conserving that gas for your actual generator. Um, and
And
be
if you
careful.
can buy
Mhm.
Go ahead.
No, if you could buy, go ahead.
Go ahead.
No, I was
No,
just
I'm saying
saying,
if
don't
you can
go ahead.
we're having a delay. I'm sorry.
You go,
We'll figure it
Ellen.
out. Go ahead. Okay. If you purchase small things, like let's say you can buy sutures with
Yeah.
needles. If there's like something small that you can think of that is very necessary that you can purchase to trade for something you might need that you can't afford, do it. I mean, go ahead.
I can sell my medicine. I'm just saying. That's why I'm an herbalist. And I've
Yep.
also started, so years ago, Amy and I took a class in, it was called rural medicine at the time. It's years ago. Now it's called wilderness first responder. So I decided to get the upgraded certification, and I'm working on that because if I'm a wilderness first responder and you need help and I'm an herbalist and I can make medicine, that is a valuable skill
Hmm.
that, I can barter for food, right?
Hmm.
If I can help you. And like I said, the Amish told me is they always told me get freeze dried coffee. That's what they'll barter with freeze because people want their caffeine after a few days. They will lose their damn mind, right?
Oh God, yeah, yeah.
Freeze dried coffee lasts 20 to 25 years, right? And coffee, if it's
Wow.
stored properly and it's freeze dried in a proper, it doesn't really go bad. It just kind of starts losing your taste after. But hey, I can throw some dandelion in there and make them coffee if need be. So it is important that you do have those things, like Ellen was saying, that you do have those skills or those things that are valuable to other people. If
That
we
might be
had
cheap. Yeah,
cheap for you, or like I said, thrifted a
yeah.
camp stove and some sterno, and somebody wants a hot cup of coffee and you can exchange that, like, because your arm is cut and they can bandage you up, it might be worth doing that. So that's important too. But
Oh God,
always
yeah.
have an emergency fund. I know Clay has talked about it a while, but 3 to 6 months. And look, money's tight right now. But like I said, if you have a side hustle where you can sell stuff online on Etsy or have a yard sale or sell it on Facebook Marketplace, that's found, to me, that's found money. You can save that money, right? In a can for when the power goes out. Um, yes, you want to have money that you can get to, but look at those poor people in North Carolina and Tennessee who there's no bank, there's no power, there's no way they can get to that or even pay their bills for months. Now, I know that a lot of them were working and trying to get Starlink and stuff, but just make sure you kind of keep that in your mind. But Clay just mentioned that they
Nope.
may be
Sorry.
cheap now, but they might be extremely valuable later. Correct? Bandages,
Yep.
aspirin. Like when we were building
Suture
our
kits.
kits. Yeah. Well, not even now they have zip tie sutures you can buy, and you should get those so you're
Nice.
not actually having to stitch. But when we were in my wilderness first responder class talking about building a first aid kit, and it's different for, a cold weather first aid kit would be different than maybe someone in Florida, right? So you always need to build your
Oh yeah.
kit for where you are or where you're going. But a lot of the stuff, I went to Dollar Tree or I went to Dollar General and filled my kit. There were a few things that I did buy um, off the internet or other stores, right? And one of those was the suture kit, and it
Mm.
was on Amazon. It's not cheap, but it zip ties. So you put it on, right? You clean the area, you put it on, and then you can just zip tie it, and it'll close the wound right up. Now, I don't know, we
Interesting.
covered this in the herbal training. I think I did yarrow. So yarrow is a natural, is what they use to stop bleeding. So if you have, I always keep, of course, my herbs with me too. I'll have some yarrow powder and I will put that on there. Or you can do the plantains out in the yard and you can use that as a bandage too. So yes, I can walk around in the woods and like feed myself and take care of myself and use it. So that's again important skill. If that's something you want, or I
And
don't
we've
know
got
what else.
like, I mean, I've got like 4 or 5 bags stock just in case.
Oh yeah, blood stop is good.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
then I grow my own blood stop. But yeah, I mean, having those things, and Clay's right, they might be cheap now, but they might be extremely valuable later. Right. And
Heck yeah.
I would never give your water away. I'm just saying, never give your water away. But Clay used the example where
Mm-mm.
the guy bought all the bottles of water and took them down to New Orleans and made all that money.
Mm-hmm.
Right. Capitalism at its best. And that's good. So having the ability to do that too is also good. So there's people that do couponing and will tell you on YouTube you can watch them or you can do it yourself. We have grocery outlets here. They also They used to do it before the pandemic. They haven't started again, or at least not here. They used to have grocery auctions where you could just go buy stuff in bulk and you'd auction, raise your hand. I don't know if they have them down in your area, and flea markets are the best, and
Mm-mm.
cheap on the side of the road is good too if you can find it, right? Just do what you can on those things. My final thoughts
I
and
mean, if
call to actions. Go ahead.
hang on, if you're gonna buy like a really expensive purse or a solar generator, do the solar generator just for your own well-being, children, your family. Like the little shit or the stupid shit does not matter. What does matter is you surviving in the future.
Well, we saw the government did not come. And how long did it take
They
for
don't.
just private citizens to even get to those people? Sometimes it took in part of those hollers and stuff like that, it took people with
Hmm.
mules weeks. So my thing is always, I now know that no one's coming for me, right? No one's coming. So take
No one
care of
is
your,
coming. No.
but and
Yep.
it's sad to say that no one's coming, but no one's coming. You're going to have to rely on yourself. So it's why I said, have a garden. And the garden could be, like I said, you can grow sprouts, which are cheap. You can have, Melissa, if you have a balcony, get some of those boxes and hang them over your balcony. You can also think going up too. So you can have hanging baskets where you can grow lettuce. I mean, you live in California, so you have a great climate. You can grow lettuce pretty much all year round, I would
Oh
think.
yeah.
You could have strawberries up there, right? You could have small tomato plants up there. You can put, she has said she has no outside space. Well, you can do things on the window, and Ellen will tell you I have herbs growing on my windowsill.
Hmm.
So you
Yep.
can grow things on your windowsill, or if you have pots, you can grow them in clay pots. Lettuce, Melissa, you could always grow lettuce on windowsills and things like that. You can grow herbs on windowsills. You certainly can do the microgreens. And in California, you should have these microgreens everywhere. I mean, when I was having to go out there for work, they were charging a fortune to get some sprouts on my hamburger. I think they wanted like $6 to put some sprouts on my hamburger. Where I got a packet of sprouts for a dollar Jen, and you see I'm growing them here. So you certainly can do that too. And space, start small, right? Start small. Just get I would suggest get a little and I did this. I got like a suitcase at one of the thrift stores, and I filled up my suitcase with supplies with wheels in case I ever had to, just like they came and they said, you need to evacuate. There's a flood coming or there's a fire coming. You have 10 minutes to get out of your house, right? I have a firebox with all of my important documents, and then a suitcase with, I just wheel it out and could throw it in the back of my car if I had to get out quick. And there are things that you can buy. They have a lot of, soup. Think about it. You go to Dollar General or Dollar Tree, and they have like powdered onion soup or powdered soup, right? So you can always have powdered soup. Now, it might not be great, but it's something that you can put in your stomach, right? Rice and beans. Yeah, you'll have to soak them, but you can have some rice and beans to take with you and stock up. I know when I was in home ec, and there's YouTube channels that talk about how you can buy like one chicken and make 5 meals out of it. So look at things like that where you're not throwing stuff out, where, you make the chicken, maybe you have a chicken sandwich, use the bones to make soup or, croquettes or something with the different pieces, how to take scraps and make soup with them. So always save your vegetable scraps. You can make soup with them. So you can make a vegetable broth, or if you have any kind of bones. So if you got a ham with a bone in it or a chicken with a bone in it, you can throw that in and make a beautiful bone. I can't say that today. Bone broth with
Bone
that.
broth. Bone broth.
Thank you. So, some of my thoughts is, try to be financially and physically prepared, and invest in your security as well. Like I said, I had those little solar lights that were super cheap, but yet scared the whole neighborhood in Ellen. So if a robber's coming, and even though the power is out, that was a little bit of
The,
security.
the whole
Start,
county will hear it.
yes, start small and gradually build your supplies, right? Like I said, this room wasn't built in a day. You know, even if you have an extra dollar or two and you go to Dollar Tree and you buy Band-Aids, right? Then you have some Band-Aids. Like I said, get a small suitcase from a thrift store or a small plastic container. Because if there's a flood, if you have, like, those things leak, right? But plastic containers don't. So have a you can do a plastic container as well, right? Just something. I also keep a go bag in my car because in Pennsylvania where I live, they always announce that if you go out in the snow and it's bad, no one's coming for you. So be prepared. So I always keep like two changes of clothes, a blanket or two in there, some water, and some energy bars in my car. So that's another thing, be prepared when you have these things. So does anybody else have any questions for us or want to discuss anything else? Ellen, the chat.
I think we're good.
Nothing
I
on
know
the
I'm
Rumble
tired as
or the
hell.
YouTubes. I know.
No. I've got nothing.
And Ellen can tell us about her beautiful case because I have been admiring the your little shelf back there. So did you get that palette for
Oh,
free or?
it's a palette. I can't tell you all the details because I don't know them all. But yeah, you just took 2 off and stained it, and there you go. It's a palette.
And
It's a
pallets are
palette
free a
shelf.
lot of times. Yeah, look, I
Yeah.
always see pallets, they just give them away for free. You can do so much with a pallet. I'd be careful, like
I made
use
it.
it. Go ahead.
I made a table with one or two. Took 2, made a table. Um, so just they were stacked, and there was just this big box, and I just a wood box. Put it on top table. It was kind of cool.
Again, we were talking about side income. Ellen, you could probably sell
Hmm.
those if you make those and you take the time and you need a little extra cash. I
Yeah,
guarantee if you took it to a yard sale, a flea market, or even put it on like
I mean,
Facebook Marketplace, you could sell that for a couple bucks, right?
I don't know
So,
if y'all can see
and
that.
pallets are free, so you're just putting your labor
Yeah,
into it, right? So, this is
yeah,
what when I was talking about having a side income come in, Ellen could
yeah.
definitely use that for her side income and take that cash and just squirrel it away for a rainy day if she needs it and
Okay,
the power.
I've lost the ability to camera right now. It's a balance. There we are. Oh, there we are. Like, wait a minute. How we do that? Yeah, it was stained, and after the 2 boards were pulled off, that's it.
People will buy that, Ellen. I mean, I've admired it the past couple shows, so definitely, I
You've been
think
telling me.
I know. Well, now you can make a few extra bucks on
There
your
you go.
palette there.
Yeah, y'all send me a message if you want one. I'll make one because somebody was telling me they had like a whole like yard full of pallets they had to get rid of. I was like, I could probably do that.
All kinds of stuff with that. Yeah.
Oh,
You
good
can
Lord. You can make a deck with that.
somebody made a whole pallet house on YouTube. I've been watching them. I can't remember the
Shut
channel.
up.
No, I'll have to send you the channel, Ellen. Like this guy's
Please do.
amazing. He made a pallet house because they don't have a lot of money. They're homesteading. They're a young family with young kids, and he got all these free
Hmm.
pallets. And he's been making all these incredible things. So now he made a 2-story little tower house. He just got so they have to save up. They're doing it in stages, right? But they were able to just
Shut
get the house.
up.
But yeah, oh my God, it's amazing. I was like, what? I mean, it was a lot of work for him to match them up. And you can tell he has like engineering experience or at least build experience,
Yeah.
but he's explaining how to get them together and how to make them structurally sound, then he's like, oh, this isn't going anywhere because the way he constructed it and put it together. But yes, it is a 2-story pallet tower house.
Listen, pallets are not made to be easily torn apart by any
Correct.
means. But you could put insulation in there. You can do all kinds of things. I have no doubt.
The only thing is be
I would
careful if
trust.
they're carrying something toxic. So make sure if you're
Yeah.
using a pallet, and I do, that you're sealing that pallet if you're doing something. But I mean, we had it on the farm. My mom took what, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I think we had like 6 or 7 pallets, and she made like compost bins with them. So,
Mm-hmm.
they go from one to the other, aeration, and it just kind of held everything in. But yeah, you can put that
Heck
in the
yeah.
back of your place. Just screwed them together. Nothing special. She did chicken wire though. I remember she put chicken wire on the outside. I don't know why, but I think just to keep more
Huh.
of the organic matter in. But leaves,
Yeah.
from the horse, the manure, and then she would mix them up, and then constantly one we would use and the other would sit for the next year, and then just kind of alternate how she did it. She did that. I
That's
haven't
cool.
gotten into composting yet. I think that's on my bucket list, but I got too much going on right
That's
now.
next. Yeah. Thanks, Mel.
All right, then, if we're done, thank you all for
We're
joining us
done.
today and the show. You can always put your questions down in the comments. We'll certainly go back and answer them for you if we
Mm-hmm.
see them in the coming months. If it's for me, like I said, put it for me or Ellen or Clay, and we'll all check the comments. If you have any questions, I'm
And
certainly not an
yeah.
expert on solar, but I know enough from having it in my house.
And as you know, I post everything on my channel. And Jane's
Twitter
is on there too. So you can actually just send her a message if you want to ask her something or ask me or ask Moffat or do anything. And mine is LE5. LEA.
What is mine? I know it's Jane Post _PA out on
Jane
Twitter.
_post _PA.
Yeah. Yeah.
I
Just
got
look
you.
for me to find me.
I got you, boo. Or just go on my channel at Ellen Lee 5. ELLENLEA number 5, and you'll find it.
I see hers. Yeah. Thanks, everybody.
All right,
Have a good
sweetheart.
night.
Good night, everybody.